Boston College. Boston College. I actually love this program for a multitude of reasons. 5.5 wins is a little disrespectful. Talk to me.
Yeah, that is a lower win total. Bill O'Brien's going into his second year. I think the first year was definitely a learning experience, kind of like a feeler year to figure out what clicks, what doesn't. There was all the drama with Castellanos. He ended up declaring that he was going to transfer like 4 or 5 days after he got benched or something like that. And then Grayson James stepped in and he did a good job. And he's going to be back this upcoming year. And I think that they're a team that's capable for sure. I'm a fan of Bill O'Brien personally. I believe that Grayson went 4-2 as a starter. Yeah, they did lose some guys like Donovan Ezeraku, went to the Cowboys, unfortunately. But yeah, and then they also did make some moves in the portal. They got VJ Wilkins to bolster up the wide receiver room. On both sides of the ball, they made some moves. It seems like this program's like trying to get back on track. Hopefully Grayson James and Bill O'Brien are able to do that. That home schedule is kind of nuts, huh? Georgia Tech, SMU, Notre Dame, Clemson. And then on the road, they got Michigan State, Stanford, Pitt, Louisville, Syracuse. 5.5, eh?
Just take the under. Just take the under. Just take the under. Right? Yeah. There's too much going on. There's too much drama with the program right now between Tommy Castellanos, and then they also lost two NFL linemen, like offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They lost two NFL offensive linemen. That is huge gap to fill with a run first team. So I don't know if Bill O'Brien will be able to take care of that. Now, what's interesting is Tommy Castellanos was benched after a 3 losing game streak, and it was for Grayson James, who people have actually had argued at the time was a better quarterback overall. But he also got injured in that Syracuse game. So the timeline, I had to remind myself the timeline events. Comes in for an injured Tommy Castellanos, plays well, and then ends up having his own little win streak. James ends up being 4-2 as a starter. Then Castellanos, after getting benched in that Syracuse game, 5 days later, he announces his intent to transfer. It's like so disrespectful, and what that leads me to believe is that Bill O'Brien does not have control of that locker room, and they don't respect him. He on the theme of Penn State coaches, he was a Penn State coach for a number of years, and he kind of ditched. Once he he was starting to build the program back up, and I'm very grateful to him for doing it, taking the job at a time where no one wanted to coach Penn State. But truly, he brought it out of the depths. But instead of building a program and a legacy, he left to go to the Patriots. I'm sorry, not the Patriots. He left to go to the Texans. I like Bill O'Brien. 5.5 wins. I just can't give it to you yet, buddy. I'm sorry. You'll get 5 wins this season. I trust that, but 6 is gonna be too much.